The first thing you need to understand about women shooting their shot is that everything that they do is not a coincidence, and everything that they do and say is going to be portrayed in a way where they can have plausible deniability about anything, and they will try to gaslight you if you necessarily don't want to be approached by them, or if you start to ask them questions, and they always want to be looking for a way out to make it seem like you're the one that doesn't understand what's going on. Okay, so just keep that clear going forward. And in this video, I want to talk about specifically why women shooting their shot at the men that are not seemingly interested in them, and why this is. Because it didn't start until the last few years, but more and more women that I was not interested in. It's kind of interesting because in my simp days, and even when I was in my simp days, I wasn't necessarily the biggest simp, but even in my simp days, I always found myself liking more women than women liking me. And now it's the complete opposite, where there are more women that like me than I care to like the women. And it's not because I hate women or anything like that. It's just that a lot of them don't have the same standards or principles or values that I do. And so, yeah, they may be beautiful women, and there are a lot of beautiful women, but I know for a fact that this woman that I'm looking at is not going to be the mother of my future children someday. And so you got to understand that sometimes women will be more attracted to you when you genuinely don't care. And it's not necessarily that you don't care about them and you don't know how to, like, it's not like you don't know how to show affection if you wanted to even try. You do know how to show affection. It's just that you don't feel the need to. And you know subconsciously, you're operating on a subconscious level now, that you're not trying to get anything from the woman, she's trying to get something from you. And that's really a whole shape-shifting game changer when it comes to the nexus of attraction. Okay, so a lot of men will compulsively reward women that are terrible women, that act just bizarre, because they're afraid that they're not going to get anything anywhere else. And the men that don't do this, that keep it real, the women that can see the difference, because women that don't know how to vet are just going to take whatever, but the women that know what kind of man that they are looking for and have a proper relationship to men, they're going to be able to spot this kind of a thing easier. And so when you're the kind of man that knows that he's offering something to the woman, but he's not going to go out and chase her, she's going to be able to pick up on this. And she's going to shoot her shot at you in different ways. And this might be just a look. This might just be her asking you questions about some random stuff that has nothing to do with what you're doing right now. Or depending on where you're at, like a gym, for example, it could be as sly and devious as just asking how many sets you have on the machine. Because to women, sometimes that is like shooting their shot. But you don't necessarily, like, don't get it twisted. I'm not telling you that every woman that is out there that is asking you if you're done with that set there, or if she asks for a spot, you know, she's trying to flirt with you. But you have to kind of read the signs, and you have to indicate, okay, well, what exactly are those signs? Well, her mood is going to be more elevated. Okay, there's going to be a difference between, a lot of men can't figure out, like, well, is she just being nice, or is she trying to flirt with me? It's like, well, if she's approaching you, let's say, and I will say this, out of all the women that I've talked to within the last few years, the best women that I've seen, that we never got official or anything, but there was a nice talking stage until some other red flags were revealed. And it was a nice talking stage, but the best ones were the ones that approached me. Those were the ones. But it was weird because I was I was never in that position, growing up where women would always come after me. And so having this newfound understanding over the past, I would say 3 or 4 years, has been really enlightening because it demonstrates to me just what kind of man women are looking for and what kind of signals they're going to give. And you'll find that the women that are most interested in you are just going to place themselves around you. That's it. If you kind of just see that she's just naturally gravitating towards you, like you are the sun and she is just like revolving around you, like you are just this ball of light and energy that she just doesn't want to get away from, that's a good indicator that she's shooting her shot when she is around there. But a lot of the times women will shoot their shot at men that really don't care about them and try to get their attention in such a way where the consensus of the woman is, well, because he doesn't want me, then I want him. And you've got to be mindful, and sometimes you just got to play the game, because there are going to be times where you want to treat the women that you don't like the same way you treat the women that you do like. And this may seem counterintuitive, but it is the case. And I also want to be clear that I do not condone one-night stands or flings of any kind. I do not recommend anybody do that. A lot of people, like the pickup artists and the PUAs, the dating coaches. I'm not a dating coach, okay? I'm more of a spiritual counselor. I would say, if I had to place a title on me, even though I don't like titles, I'm simply a guy that wants to help people do the right thing and follow Christ. I don't think that one-night stands or casual relationships are good for anybody, especially not women. Men can deal with it a little bit more, but it still is statistically proven that the percentage of happiness and the percentage of possibility for a conducive and meaningful relationship goes down drastically, more so for women than men, every time they sleep with somebody new. And that is a statistical fact. And the real line at where the line is drawn, where things, the chances of happiness go below like 20 to 30%, is at number 5 for women. Okay, it's like number 7 for men. But still, that's not a lot considering the platitudes of today's discourse in the dating pool. Okay, so, which is crazy, which is absolutely nuts, because even just 20 or 30 years ago, the idea of having more than just a couple people to be around and to sleep with, rather, I mean, they are being with them, but the idea of that, at least socially and culturally, was outlawed in some sense. But nowadays, women are basically not even hiding the fact that they're married, and they're trying to get you to be like the sneaky link, okay? And anybody that doesn't know what a sneaky link is, it's, obviously you're the one that's committing adultery with the woman, and you're the one, or the man, because there are men that, because they're married, women are more attracted to that as well. And I've seen that happen before, but more so, especially just me being a single man, and I'm naturally a bit stoic. I'm naturally reserved. I'm naturally somebody that doesn't complain. I'll talk about my thoughts, but I don't necessarily try to be cynical or anything like that. I just speak the truth, and some people may see it as cynical, but I'm not cynical. There was one point in time where I was a nihilist, but that time is far, far gone, and I'm much more optimistic about the future, but I'm also a realist more than anything else. And so when women are shooting their shot at these men, that are not necessarily wanting them. It's just the allure of a man that doesn't want them, and now it's like they have to have it. Women want three things, right? This is something I've talked about in other videos in the past. They want more, something else, and something they can't have. Okay? Those are the three things that women want the most. And once you understand that, you'll be able to maneuver in life a little bit more, I would say, sophisticatedly. And in regard to the directness in which you are not taking any BS from women. Because a woman that really wants you is going to make it easy for you. And this wasn't always, this always didn't make sense to me. Because up until the last 3-4 years, when women started to really make it easy for me, even when they were married or in a relationship, and I didn't even know that they were married or in a relationship at some points, but as soon as I found out, I was like, nah, this is not how I roll. I will not go through with this. And women have even lied to me about being in relationships because they found out through somebody else somehow about, me being not romantically compatible with women in relationships or talking to multiple men at one time, that, well, now they just know, oh, well, they can lie to me. They can lie. And this is going to be something that you'll be able to pick up on if you have proper insight into the situation. And I would say this is where spiritual awareness really comes into play. A lot of men will think that it's game, quote unquote, that saves them. It's not game that saves you. The game that you have is just by being who you are. And that comes with spiritual awareness, that comes with self-awareness, that comes with understanding what you want, what you need, and what your boundaries are and what you're not willing to tolerate. Because so many men will place boundaries with women, or try to, and then if they get called controlling or whatever, the men will be like, oh yeah, maybe I am controlling, maybe this, maybe it is my fault. It's always the men's fault. So they'll think this way. They'll think, oh yeah, maybe it is my fault. Maybe it is this, maybe it is that about me. Oh yeah, maybe she can just go out and do whatever she wants. Like she can do. And don't get me wrong, genuine love and freedom is going to be there. Well, how do I say this? Genuine love is apprehended and apparent when there is freedom that is given. Okay, that's a good way to think about it, is because when you can understand that you can only lead the woman or walk away from her, life gets a lot easier. Because we're supposed to be the leaders as men. We're supposed to be the leaders. And if a woman isn't following your lead, well, number one, are you able to lead your own life? Because that's one thing that women are going to be shooting their shot at men that know how to live their own lives. Even if the man isn't necessarily in the top echelons of society, a man that lives his own life and by his own principles and by his own ways of being, and he can still provide the resources and the basics for himself, or even more so, or he knows how to get those resources, that's going to be a woman's greatest dream. Because the man is not taking any BS, but he's also somebody that follows his own, like he has his own way of doing things. And that's really attractive to women. Women are attracted to like the cat-like characteristics of a man sometimes, it seems to me. And so if you have a particular way of doing things, women may not like it, quote unquote, but they will. They just won't say it. And so you got to look out for these signs. Is she placing herself in your vicinity consistently, and she's like constantly gravitating towards you? And if so, then like you got to make sure that she's the kind of woman that you would want. And a woman that sees a man doesn't want her, not only does this put you as a challenge, but it also, she sees you now as something that she can't have. And that, like, there's something about that drives a woman nuts. And I've, in the past, even to this day, when I've rejected women, and I'm rejecting more women than I'm accepting at this point, or even, because I get more offers casually from women now. I've had married women tell me that we can just keep it a secret. I've had women in relationships tell me that we can just be on the side, like we don't have to tell anybody, which is just crazy. Like, it's just nuts. And I'm just not that kind of guy. I don't know exactly the reason why. Like, I know I can talk to women. I know I can make them feel wanted. And I think maybe that's, just kind of a retrospect on my own life. I think that's what makes women so attracted to me, is I just naturally make them feel wanted because I can make them feel heard and understood very easily. And that's a gift that I have, and that's one of the reasons why I am who I am, and praise God for it. But it's also like, I don't always intentionally mean for there to be a stronger connection than the woman. Like, the woman wants there to be a stronger connection, and I'm just being who I am. And I don't always I'm not trying to get anything from her, and that's what she likes. And a lot of these men think that the game will save them, but it's actually just staying in your frame and being who you are. And that's why women are going to be shooting their shot at men that don't want them, is because the man that doesn't really want them or isn't really paying attention to them, he's just being cool, calm, and collected, laid back, relaxed. It's almost like, well, now she has to have him. Like, if he and why is that? Because now she's going to get your attention all to herself. That's all it is. She doesn't want you for you. She wants the attention for her. And that's not a bad thing, okay? That's just something you have to realize as a man, because as a man, we think about love being like, oh yeah, like this idealistic kind of a thing. It's not the way that it is for women. It's not a bad thing. It's just different, all right? So I hope this video was useful and insightful. If you do want to join the Regal Change Academy, where we have the free Discord available as well as the paid community, the free Discord, there's some meditation guides, healing techniques, etc., that are free resources available there. In the paid community, we do have a Nexus Attraction class, and that, I'm not saying that this is going to be, the way to get all women or anything like that. That's not what I'm marketing this as, okay? And that's not what it is either. What it is just a way to pick up on certain signals and cues, and how to develop proper biblical relationships to women, and to ensure that you're leading your own life, because the basics of attraction is going to be how you can lead yourself. If you can lead yourself, then you're naturally going to be able to lead a woman to a better place as well. And that takes responsibility, and it takes dedication, and it takes discipline, all right? So we also have other classes going on right now. We have the Art of War class going on, and we have a bunch of other like meditation workshops, entrepreneurship workshops, etc. And we also have 2 weekly Bible study calls, as well as a weekly congregation call in that paid community. So if you're interested in joining a community of godly, like-minded people, that's the way to go, all right? I also want to appreciate everybody moving from YouTube over to X, Rumble, and Instagram recently. I appreciate your guys' extra support. And with all that being said, peace be with you all. Till next time.